too hard to look people around you injured and killed and lost some of part of their body. It's too hard to look at blood and flesh.
They are my family, and we suffer from water, food. There are no peace.
We are in Sudan, the country where the war has been going for almost 2 years. Entire cities have been emptied, millions forced to flee, and basic life, food, water, medicine has collapsed. This is the world's worst humanitarian crisis today. Since it began in April 2023, more than 30 million people have been forcibly displaced by the war, with tens of thousands killed. In this documentary, we show what war looks like when the cameras leaves and who has left behind to survive it. The crisis in Sudan is tearing apart the heart of Africa. After the fall of the president Omar al-Bashir in 2019, power shifted to two leaders, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and Rapid Support Forces Commander Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, known as Hamedi. Rising tensions over military reform turned allies into enemies, igniting a brutal conflict on April 15, 2023. This is no longer politics. This is a battle for survival. This is the front line.
In fact, this war is being planned and prepared before the 15th of April 2023. If you follow the political disputes before the war starts, it shows clearly that there is a huge preparation happened behind the scene from some countries in the region and international interference into a regional, internal politics. They want to implement a project that will hijack the whole country and replace the people demographically by bringing people from other countries to be permanent resident in Sudan.
The war in Sudan began with an attack on Khartoum International Airport. The Rapid Support Forces seized control, plunging the capital into chaos. The airport, once vital for residents of Khartoum flights and military operations, was left in ruins. Runways, terminals, and air traffic control systems were heavily damaged, crippling Sudan's ability to manage logistics. For months, Khartoum was divided by fierce street battles and widespread destruction. Over time, the balance of power shifted. In March 2025, the Sudanese armed forces regained control of both the capital and the airport, a critical turning point in the war.
نعلن اليوم اكتمال تطهير كامل ولاية الخرطوم من أي وجود لعناصر ميليشيا الدقلو الإرهابية وتطهير عاصمتنا الوطنية من دنس المتمردين وأعوانهم مؤكدين أن ولاية الخرطوم خالية تماما من المتمردين.
When we liberated the palace, we were very happy because it has a symbol for the Sudanese nation. In terms of war and the army, it will make the army more capable to reach any region and actually to run the country smoothly.
But the capital, Khartoum, is where the true battle for Sudan's future is being fought. Once a vibrant hub of politics, commerce and culture, Khartoum stood proudly at the crossroads of Africa, where the white and blue Nile rivers converge. But the price of this battle has been devastating. It took us 15 hours to come from Port Sudan to Khartoum. No flights, no functional airport, just a long road. This city, recently declared fully liberated after months of brutal war, To report from here, we have to secure special permissions. Military checkpoints are everywhere. The distractions are overwhelming. Entire neighborhood reduced to rubble. Survivals are returning, but to ruins, no homes. Due to security reasons, people prefer to come back to Omdurman first. Khartoum may be free, but the real battle to heal and to build is only just the beginning. In the heart of war-torn Khartoum, under the grip of the Rapid Support Forces control, we met those who choose to stay, bound by loyalty, duty, and love. Mumin, a volunteer, has worked at a hospital in Khartoum since the war began. Over the course of those harrowing months, he lost 5 of his closest friends. According to him, more than 10,000 people passed through the hospital's doors, and 3,000 never made it out alive. In the midst of chaos, Mumin and his team fought to save lives, even as the very ground beneath them was torn apart.
Those people are working with us, these girls and this man, all of us.
Hello. How are you? Thank you. How are you?
We are fine.
Good to see you. You're doing a great job.
Shabab, salam alaikum. There's one of us. He's killed not far away from the hospital.
He was killed.
Yes. When they are rocket, they are shelling outside of the hospital, maybe 20 meters from the hospital. They are guarding there. He's drink coffee. They are shelling happened. He was injured in his body in so dangerous place, and he died maybe after 10 minutes. His name is Sadiq Haider. He's the last one we lost him.
Mumin and his team of volunteers, up to 40 people, worked tirelessly at the hospital, helping the injured and distributing medicine for free. They risk their lives every day, knowing that each moment could be their last. Many of them, including Mumin himself, have been injured.
Now I can't use my right hand. Look at this, there is no muscle here. There is muscle here, but there is no muscle here. I can't work by just working by my left hand. And something happened here. Take some of part of my leg, like graft, from the both sides, here and here. Take some nerve. So put it here in my arm, yes. If they not take something from here to put it here, they will cut it.
In the face of unimaginable danger, with the city torn apart and survival a daily struggle, many Sudanese were confronted with an impossible choice: align with the Rapid Support Forces or resist, even when it meant risking everything.
عانينا معاناة اقتصادية، عدم أمان، عدم نوم، حتى احتياجاتنا الرئيسية الأساسية اللي بنحتاج مثلا الموية، الأكل، الشراب، كان في مشكلة، كان في يعني شبه جرائم يومية، انتهاكات، حاجات كثيرة حصلت لنا، لكن الحمد لله حسي بعد يعني الأوضاع اتغيرت. احنا حتى اضطرينا احنا مثلا سافرنا، لجأنا لحتات تانية، نزحنا لولايات مختلفة.
They weren't busy with the democracy as they were saying. It was just a big robbery. It was armed robbery, nothing much or nothing more. Safety level was zero. The lack of everything, of course. Starting with the medication to the electricity and water. I'm a doctor and I stopped working from the beginning of the war. Actually, I had the opportunity to work, and they do pay a lot of money, the RSF. But I refused that because I know the man is nothing but his word. And my word was to save this country.
Five days after the last shots echoed through the streets, our filming crew entered Salha in southern Omdurman. We were the first and remain the only journalists to witness what was left behind. Bodies still lay where they had fallen. The smell of death clung to the air. Homes had been stripped bare. Windows shattered, doors kicked in. Life had been violently erased. When war reached Khartoum in 2023, Salha turned into a front line. But in April 2025, it became something even darker. On land once controlled by the RSF, a mass grave was discovered. Hundreds of bodies buried together, hastily and without dignity. Many bore the marks of torture, of starvation, of execution. The grave had been there all along, near what had once been the residence of Khartoum building, turned into a makeshift prison. Among the dead were men, women, and children. No names, no farewells, just silence.
These acts represent grave violations of international humanitarian law, human dignity, and the most basic principles of faith and morality. The targeting of residents of Khartoums and the deliberate use of terror undermine every effort toward peace and reconciliation in Sudan.
The Rapid Support Forces continue to dominate Darfur and parts of the southern Sudanese border, holding both urban and rural regions. But how is this possible? How did a small rebel group grow into a powerful force controlling vast territories?
We captured a lot of weapons from big countries like USA now. This headline coming up in this last 24 hours. There is a lot of involvement for the Americans' weapons in the hands of the RSF, which has helped them a lot to commit a lot of atrocities, big atrocities, genocide, displacing people. All this happened with Western countries' weapons, which is very dangerous.
The new form of neocolonialism in the 21st century.
Of course, yes, but as you can read the Sudanese history, we are not easy to surrender.
Sudan is a major gold producer, with around 70% of its gold mined informally by armed groups. The Rapid Support Forces controlling gold-rich areas profit from this illicit trade to fund their military and political ambitions. The war, which began in April 2023, has roots in Sudan's colonial past, where ethnic divisions, militarized governance, and economic neglect of regions like Darfur set the stage for conflict. The RSF, descended from Janjaweed militias, now controls key areas, further destabilizing the country.
This war is very, very dangerous for the region, not only for Sudan, because as you can see, there is a lot of drones involved now, coming from overseas, attacking electricity power supply, water supply. And this also can give a signal that the war is not really for implementing democracy and freedom, and it was really planned to destroy the country.
In a stark message to the nation, Sudan's Army Chief General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan condemned the malicious actions, accusing them of undermining the very foundations of the state.
الذين قادوا أكبر ظاهرة قامت على التضليل والكذب والخداع وتزييف الحقائق وشرازمة الناس في تاريخ هذا البلد.
The Secretary General is deeply concerned that weapons and fighters continue to flow into Sudan, allowing the conflict to persist and spread across the country. The external support and flow of weapons must end.
Amnesty International's Secretary General Agnes Callamard stated that research shows weaponry designed and manufactured in France is in active use on the battlefield in Sudan. These French-made weapons have been found in the hands of the Rapid Support Forces, as a clear violation of the United Nations arms embargo on the Darfur region.
RSF was part of the government before the war started, and they have all the weapons needed for this war. We found weapons from all Western countries. Even UAE is a huge involvement in this war, but we address them and they're working with us very in a sufficient way to stop this the flow of the weapons to the RSF.
On the occasion of the second anniversary of the civil war, the Rapid Support Forces have declared a rebel government to rule RSF-held areas, including Darfur. A 15-member presidential council had to represent regions across Sudan. But this political move came under a cloud of violence, with the United Nations reporting over 400 residents of Khartoum killed in RSF-led attacks.
On this anniversary, we proudly declare the establishment of the Government of Peace and Unity.
The United States has also imposed sanctions on RSF leader Hamedi, key suppliers, and related companies. The goal is to disrupt the group's funding and operations, particularly its involvement in the gold trade and arms trafficking. However, as the humanitarian situation in Sudan worsens, these sanctions raise concerns about their impact on innocent residents of Khartoum, who are already suffering in the midst of a deepening conflict. No gold costs more in human lives, and yet nothing is worth less once you see what it's traded for.
Sometimes drone come with a bomb and call it down here in Durman. Even the RSF now is not far away from here, but it come from outside of Sudan, they will say, or come from the out of Khartoum state. It's happened daily.
Some people were shot for £1. The bullet cost more than what they have been shot because. So it wasn't safe for anyone to do that. They weren't interested to do such a thing. If you looked around, if you took the camera and looked around Khartoum, there was nothing here but destruction.
As Khartoum fell into chaos, Port Sudan became the country's last safe ground, a base for aid workers, UN missions, and government ministries that had fled the capital. But this city is more than just a fallback. As Sudan's main port on the Red Sea, it is the country's economic lifeline, the gateway for trade, fuel, and food. Port Sudan, once considered a rare safe zone, amid Sudan's brutal civil war, is now shaken by consecutive days of attacks carried out by the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. In early May 2025, drone strikes pierced the quiet skies, hitting air bases, fuel depots, and power stations in Port Sudan.
نقول لكل من اعتدى على الشعب السوداني ستحين ساعة القصاص، ستحين ساعة القصاص، ستحين ساعة القصاص، والله الشعب السوداني سينتصر.
Multiple explosions, huge fire, flights were grounded, and the country's only functioning airport was forced to close. For many, it was a chilling reminder: no place is untouched by this war. Right now, the city is in complete darkness because the electricity has been turned off. In the sky above, glowing drones fly quietly, their lights shining like small stars. Just a few days ago, Port Sudan was attacked by drones.
Just recently, Port Sudan was also attacked by drones. How is the situation now? How the city is secured?
The city is very secure. They took us by surprise on the first day on 4th of May, but now we are very well prepared to deal with anti-drones capabilities. But Port Sudan is a safe city, as you can see now.
As if the war hadn't caused enough pain, it brought something even worse. In the ruins of Khartoum, with buildings destroyed and lives torn apart, cholera came back. The city's water pipes were broken, and there was no electricity to pump clear water. Many people had to drink from dirty rivers or wells. That's when the disease spread. Every day, over 1,000 people go sick. it wasn't just a fight over power anymore. It became a fight to stay alive.
Cholera outbreak in Khartoum state is worsening at an alarming rate, we're told. Our humanitarian partners in the state report an 80% increase in suspected cases over the past 2 weeks, bringing the total number of cases to more than 8,500.
We're suffering from medicine, no education, disease. Most of my neighbors, they are come out, and we live alone.
أنا شخصياً عن التجربة الشخصية إنه السنتين دي يعني غيرت في حاجاتنا كتير، غيرت في سلوكنا، غيرت في مفاهيمنا، حاجات كتيرة كنا بنفتكر إنها هي كانت حاجات أساسية اتغيرت، اكتشفنا حقائق، كان في حاجات إحنا بنفتكرها مهمة، في خلال السنتين دي اكتشفنا إنه الحاجات دي كانت كماليات ما أساسيات بالنسبة لنا.
Hospitals already overwhelmed or shattered after years of conflict couldn't meet the urgent medical needs.
People can drink water without boiling it. Just drink it. Drink it as there are some biotics in there. There are a lot of bad things, in the water. It's not clean, it's not clear, it's not pure. Also the chlor, there is no chlor to put in the water. Like disease happened. A lot of people dead here.
Since the war out in Sudan in April 2023, UN agencies had been delivering life-saving aid despite severe challenges. UNICEF has reached millions with clean water, vaccines and malnutrition treatment, while the World Food Programme provides food and cash to over 3 million people each month. Yet access remains dangerous. Aid convoys have come under attack and funding is crucial low. The United Nations is calling for urgent support to prevent famine and disease, as Sudan faces one of the world's worst humanitarian crises.
I will ask every Sudanese person around the world who skipped the war to come back. Fear is what was limited our potential, limited our movement, limited our hopes and dreams. What's the fear? Fear of being shot for nothing. Now everything is safe now.
After so much bloodshed, the hope that dialogue could heal the wounds of war flickered briefly in Jeddah, where international mediators try to bring the warring sides into talks. But that hope has now been extinguished. In June, RSF commander Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo declared an end to negotiations, pledging instead to advance on Port Sudan. On the other side, Sudanese Armed Forces leader Abdel Fattah al-Burhan vowed to crush what he calls a rebellion, rejecting any path but war.
Now the children, every child in this neighborhood wakes up every morning to go to school with a smile on his face. I don't think students love the school this much until they were forbidden to go to school for 2 years. I think when there is no fear, there is life.
We need to rebuild our country, to destroy it, all of it. Roman, Khartoum, a lot of people died. We need people to help us to come back again our country.
الحاجة اللي حصلت دي تبقى تجربة وتبقى لنا عتب إنه نمشي لقدام، نصلح الحياة السيئة اللي كانت ونمشي لقدام عشان شنو؟
Sudan has lived through months of fear, loss, and silence. We walk through towns where nothing stands, but people still do. We met families who lost everything except their courage. This war has left deep scars, but also stories the world needs to hear. And there is a thing we should remember. Even in the darkest places, humanity fights to be seen. And this is what it means to be on the front line.
الحمد لله يعني احنا لنا 3 يوم هسه من رجعنا، لنا 3 شهور ما فيشين برا الخرطوم، رجعنا احنا عن تجربتنا الشخصيه يعني أنا ال3 يوم دي نومتها بننوم الساعة 9. إحنا كنا ما بننوم نهائي، يعني بنكون مسهرين الليل كله النهار كله، إحنا بنكون يعني كالساق يعني.
Sudan will be better. إن شاء الله.